Good evening, everybody. What a beautiful Thursday this has been. Welcome to It's Not About Me, It's About Us. Tonight, my special guest will be Dave Edwards. But I thought I'd say hello and see how everybody's doing out there. The weather's getting better and better and better. And normally, this time of the year, my allergies are just off the hook. But I think with wearing my mask and staying indoors a lot, that's helped a ton. Last year I didn't have hardly any problems at all. I'm trying to remember to take my allergy meds, and that also helps. But yeah, it's been not an issue this year, so I'm very grateful for that. So this is the second show. Thank you for joining me tonight, both live and via a recording. It's a lot of fun to put together. I'm still nervous about it because I want it to go right. Earlier tonight, as my friend Dave and I were warming up, my computer crashed twice. Who knows why? And what'll happen is that the show continues, but I disappear. And so Dave has promised that he'll keep the ball rolling until I log back on. So that's what happens. Hopefully that won't happen for the next hour or so, but one never knows. So after, a brief hello and people are joining, let me go to my comment section here and see if we see anybody. So please, if you're, please drop me a line in the comment section and say, hey, let me know you're here so I can say hi back. And just let me know how you're doing. I'm doing great. It's been a week being fully vaccinated. I've gone out a little bit more. I've eaten out a couple of times. I usually go when, like off hours, lunch hour, I stay home, but like about 1:30, I'll go have lunch, or mornings at 10, and places are pretty empty. And so I feel good about that. But, I'm having coffee with a buddy of mine outdoors in the mornings on Wednesdays. I haven't done that in over a year. We continue wearing our masks, but it's good to be able to, talk face to face for the first time in so long. We're both fully vaccinated. It just feels great. So, thanks again for joining tonight. And since we're at that part of the show, let's go there. All right, CJ's update. I got to tell you, at one point I worked at Sacramento Natural Foods Co-op, and there were a whole bunch of Chris's that worked there. And so when I was hired, they said, look, you can't go by Chris. We got to do something about that. So they started calling me CJ, and that name stuck. And when I left the co-op and I went to work for Resources for Independent Living, my boss from the co-op had a wife at the time, who was the office manager. Her mom was executive director. And so when I went there, they started calling me CJ. And so that's stuck. There are a lot of people that know me as CJ. I just thought so that's where that comes from. Anyway, I wish I had some serious updates for you, but here's what I was thinking. I was going to show you. I want to show you something. I'm going to have to take my headphones off for a second. Bear with me. And, like I said, please feel free to leave me a comment and just say hello. Okay, this is all about my glasses, right? So I was looking at, how Facebook says memories and what have you. Posted up a memories like 7 years ago, and it's these same glasses. And can you see, like right here? I mean, it's coming apart. And oftentimes when I take my glasses off, this little part, it sticks on my ear. It just stays there. And I got to pull it back and put it back in. So soon I'll have an update. I'm just going to leave these off. I'll have an update saying I've got an eye appointment. I've got new glasses. So that'll be fun. And so I'll have that for us. I just have to do it, right? Okay. So at this point, let me go ahead and bring on my friend Dave. Hey, Dave,
Hey, Chris.
how you doing?
Hey, it's funny you were talking about being CJ, and remember because you and I worked at the co-op at the same
Oh
time,
yeah, that's right. No, that's
and
right.
we
Yeah.
knew each
Now,
other from
see,
before. So it was
there's
a
a lot of things I
weird,
don't. There's a lot of things
it
I
was
don't
so
remember.
weird.
I
Everybody
remember
called you
that.
CJ.
I remember that. Yeah. Did you know me as
Yep.
CJ? You don't
But
call me CJ though.
well, Chris before that, so people would be calling you CJ, and I'm like, this is too weird. I can't do it.
I remember that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's true. That's true. So, how was your day today? How was your day?
It's good. It's good. Just normal work day, working from home. So
Working from home?
can't
Cool.
beat that.
Nope, nope. And we were talking earlier that you're getting your second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Like what? Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday. Yep.
Next Wednesday. Yeah. So you're
So
only like
sigh of relief.
by the end of the month you'll be fully vaccinated.
hmm
Yep. That'll be fun. That'll be really fun.
Yeah, it
So
opens up a lot of possibilities. So I'm hoping we can maybe hang out in
oh,
person again and
I know.
have
So
coffee or something. I don't know.
have coffee. I can. Maybe we can watch like Black Widow. Has Black Widow come out yet? No. Has it?
It'll be out this summer. So,
This
this
summer.
summer.
Yeah. So one of the things we're going to look at tonight is your artwork, and a lot of it is Marvel themed, such as like your hat and your shirt. And we used to we went to all the Marvel movies, and saw them in the theater on the big screen. It was awesome. And we haven't been able to do anything like that for the longest time. I don't think we're going to go see movies anytime soon, but I can come over and we can split the cost on, like a special new release that's coming out on Disney or HBO or however Amazon Prime or however they do it these days. So
Well, I'll
that'll be
tell you
nice.
what. I just saw a thing where this movie studio was offering to rent private showings, basically in the theaters,
Okay.
for
And
up
how
to
much
like
would that?
something like 20 people. I think it was like $90.
For 20
And
people?
I was like, you get for 20 people or so.
Well,
Yeah.
if you could get that many people together, I suppose that would be a good deal. Because what, 20 divided by, I mean, what'd you say, $90? 90
Something
bucks
like
divided
that.
by
Yeah.
90 bucks divided by 20, that's not too bad, I guess.
As long as that's not per person, that wouldn't be so good.
That it's like, no, no. And that actually takes movies and puts it into the realm of the elite. It's like in order to go see a movie in the theater, you got to be wealthy, right? Because you have to rent it out. Which it's just that's not fair to the rest of us. But maybe that's the way the world's going. I don't know. Either that, or we get our own little cubicle to watch the movies in. That'd be weird, right?
Yeah.
Totally weird.
Well, definitely is more something I'd entertain if I'm fully
Excuse me.
vaccinated, because without being fully vaccinated before, I was like, I don't think I could see myself going back to a theater for a long, long time.
No,
So,
not at all. No, not at all. Not at all. Excuse me. I get a drink of water here.
mm,
So, bear with me here. Okay, let me just remind people who are joining our live stream show, thank you very much for being here. And please drop a comment so that I know you're here and I can say hello. So, and as we go through, if you've got a question, excuse me, or a comment to make, just drop it in the comment section. So we're going to take a look at some of your art, and I'm curious because when we first met, art wasn't a thing for you that I remember.
mhm.
Did you study art when you were a kid growing up?
So I used to do a lot of art, like drawing and stuff when I was young.
Okay.
And somewhere around the time of like high school, like I kind of saw like art I wanted to be able to do, and I couldn't do it. And I just got very like disillusioned with it and was like, it's past my ability. And so I kind of like threw in the towel and stopped drawing, like because I saw like what other people could do, and it's like I could not reproduce that.
Right. Right.
And I thought, like, they just banged out a drawing, like their first, their very first pen to paper is like, boom, this perfect drawing. And I didn't realize that there was actually like a process, that you could go through. And so um, now, like later on, coming back to it and knowing, like, it's kind of almost like sculpting. You can sculpt your drawing. It doesn't have to be perfect with your very first lines. You can mold it until you're happy, and then kind of refine it. Kind of help me realize, like, oh, I can do this. Like, I
Right.
have shaky hands, so like it was always like, kind of nervous of like,
Yeah.
I can't throw down a good line the first time. Like, it takes a few attempts to kind of feel like, okay, this is a line I like.
Right.
So it's kind of feeling a little safer now, and I think also for me, I mean, I've done a lot of different things. Like, did Aikido with you, and after that, I stopped doing that, and I got into salsa dancing.
That's
Did
right.
that for a long time, and then I stopped doing salsa dancing, and like I got into drawing. Like, I always seem to have like one like artistic or creative outlet of some form, like whether it's dance or music or now like drawing. Um, I got like all in on it,
Well, sure.
and
Well,
it's like that's my thing.
learning anything new takes time, and you have
Yeah.
to really commit to it to learn it, right?
Hmm.
And I was just thinking, even the masters, the painters, the masters, they sketch stuff first. I mean, Da Vinci sketched
Hmm.
all kinds of stuff before he put it on canvas. So
Hmm.
that's cool. So when did you start actually? When did you decide that you could go ahead and do this art thing?
So
And I'm gonna I'm
I
gonna I'm
just
gonna put
so
I'm
I
gonna put
was
one up here while we're talking.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it's probably around maybe 10 years ago now, somewhere around there. I can't really remember exactly when, but I just decided, I really wanted, actually what kind of spurred it was I was doing iOS development, like writing apps and stuff. And I kind of thought, I want to make a game. I want to program a game, but I wanted to do everything for the game. I wanted to do the artwork for the game. I wanted to do the music for the game. And so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to dust off my art skills and start practicing art, because I knew programming. And by the way, for my job, I'm an IT person, so it's always like the analytical, kind of side. And so that's why I always, in my personal life, I always want to do something on the creative side to kind of balance it. Um, and so I started doing drawing. I got so hooked on the drawing that I kind of forgot about the idea of building a game, and that never actually materialized. And I just kind of shifted into just enjoying doing the art just for the art's sake. And so now it's really just all I'm kind of doing right now.
Cool.
I don't
That's
know. Maybe
funny.
in another 10 years, I'll circle back and do a game. I
Who
don't
knows?
know.
We got, you're a young guy. You got plenty of time to do that. So I want to
Yeah.
take a second here and say hi to your mom. Hey, Cindy. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is when you showed me the other night. I think it was last night,
Hmm.
and I had no idea
Yep.
what it was. Um, so this is the Castle of Dude, right?
Yes, he do. He-Man.
Dude, He Man.
Yes, he
Yeah,
dude. The Castle Grayskull. Yeah.
Castle
It's just a
Grayskull.
little watercolor. And I
This is
think you were talking
watercolor.
about like Da Vinci. Yeah, you were talking about Da Vinci, and this is kind of taking a method that a lot of the old masters back in Renaissance used to do, called grisaille. And
Called
what it
what?
is it's actually two steps. Like, you
What's it
grisaille,
called? Would
um,
you spell that for me?
grisaille.
Grazaille.
Oh man, you're gonna test me. It's something like, yeah, something like Grisale, something like that. But the
Okay.
idea is you do a first pass with ink, like black ink. You dilute it,
Okay.
and you do several washes of that to kind of get the tonal values in just grayscale. So
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it black and white grayscale to get all the values in where the lights and the darks are, and that's with diluted ink. And then once you're happy with that, you can come in over with watercolor, add green or other colors to it, and all of the shading and everything is done with the inks and previous kind of underpainting. So I'm just layering green watercolor wash over the castle, and all the shading is already kind of done.
It's already there.
So it's kind of it's a style that yeah, it's a style that the old Renaissance masters used to use. Yeah, so it's something I play with a lot.
Very nice. Very
Late, at
nice.
least lately, trying it out.
Hey, and there's your other half right there. Hey, Amy.
No,
Thanks for joining. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Let's see, what do we want to look at? Whoops. Oh, this is such a fun
so if
process.
you got the Robert Downey Jr. one, you can bring that up. I'll
Let's
show
see.
you.
Oh, you know what? That's one that I did not do. I did
Oh,
not do it.
okay.
But we did this guy. Now, and you're going to have to explain who this is because I do not know who this is. Okay. Who
Okay,
is
so
this?
this is a character from Game of Thrones. Tormund, I think, Giant Bane or something like that. Um,
Okay.
but he's a pretty popular character for folks who may have watched Game of Thrones. Anyways, this is there's a challenge for artists, like just it's worldwide now. It's called Inktober, and every October you're supposed to do a ink drawing uh, every day of the month, and they
Mm-hmm.
give like different prompts and stuff. And for this one, I think this one was like snow or something like that. And
Oh, okay.
this character is from basically a northern area that's like totally ice covered, snow covered, and um, so I just kind of thought of him and so drew him in. I like this one. They're not really fun.
Yeah. And people may not believe this, but I have not seen one episode of Game of Thrones, nor have I read the book. So I'm completely ignorant about all of it.
Well, you
So
can ignore the last season or two,
that's what I've
and you'd
heard.
be okay.
Is
And
he making more, or have we heard about any of that?
I'm under the impression that he will probably never finish the
He
books
probably
because
okay.
it's better not to,
Okay, here comes.
to do that now.
I'm gonna bring up my favorite, and you know what that is?
Your favorite book or favorite movie? Oh, favorite. Oh, well, yes. Okay.
The Tick.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
And
have
this is
this
for
one.
you.
I have this.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's right my favorite. The Tick. Oh, that was. You know
So
what?
this is
I've
something
not
that I like
laughed.
to.
I laughed so
This is
hard at the
something I
Tick.
like to do for. Yeah, I like to do a lot of my art now is I like to give gifts to people. So I do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my art that I draw or do something that I know someone likes, and it's intended to be a gift for them. So
Right.
it's just something I enjoy doing. It's like especially something maybe they don't expect. I know they have a favorite character or something, and I'll do that for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So this is so you know what this is probably, but
Well,
this is
these
from
are.
my wedding, and
But this is the kind of thing that you do for friends, right?
can
These
you
are like
tell what the
cards, right?
yeah,
Card size. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they call them artist trading cards, and it's like a baseball card size, right? And the
Right.
idea is it came about in the art community where artists would do these little tiny pieces of art when they go to like conventions or something with other artists
Mm-hmm.
that they could trade with other artists, like so they could kind of collect. And this, you're not supposed to sell them really. It's supposed to be like, hey, I like your art. Why don't we trade? I'll give you my art. You can give me your art. And it's this little trading card size. So you would end up collecting a lot of other artists' work, and it's nothing like super hard to make because they're pretty small. But I like those as well for gifts.
Hey, Ruben. Thanks for
Oh,
joining. Thanks for joining. Um, so now we're going to start launching into some of the Marvel stuff. And I just love this one just because it's it's not your standard X-Men kind of a thing. It's like,
yeah,
well, can you imagine as babies what they would be like?
yeah.
Now, I guess in the story they don't actually start having their superpowers until they hit a certain age, right? Like
Puberty.
puberty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. hmm
But so that's
So
that's
this is
kind of
actually
fun.
this is I belong to an art community that does sort of like a challenge, a weekly challenge where they give a prompt or something. And I can't remember what the prompt was for this, but this was something that I did for that challenge, just because there
Oh,
was a
okay.
prompt, and the first thing that popped into my head, it might have been babies or I don't know, something like that. But the first thing that popped into my head was that. I just thought I
That's
would
too
try.
much.
And
That's
that's
too
also,
much.
that one's digital. I do a lot of different mediums, so some of it's watercolor, markers, pen and ink. That's digital. I do on my iPad.
So
That's
is this
also
is it
iPad.
that's digital, right?
That is actually, I did a sketch in a sketchbook, and then I just snapped a picture of my sketch and brought it into my iPad art app, and I just drew, did the finishing work on top of it with
Oh,
layers.
okay.
So it kind of was. This one's a little bit of both, actually. It's started
So this is a little bit of
analog and
both.
then finished digital. Yep.
I see. Okay. And so, hey, Amy's saying that's one of my favorites too, and I'm guessing it's the X-Men Babies one, because that was just up. So I'm a little slow on the take here. Um, yeah, it's just very, very creative. I was wondering as I was looking at
Mm.
your artwork, have you ever drawn a character that you've made up that is not copied from like, one of the other?
Sure. Our Brandon Lum
Oh, well,
cartoon. I created those.
let me just pull that up then, and we'll talk about that a little bit because this is digital, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's digital.
Yeah. Okay, so back in the day when we were housemates, one of the things we got into was World of Warcraft online role playing game, massive,
Hmm.
whatever. And I was a holy priest, and you were a dwarf warrior.
Hmm. A warrior.
A
Yep.
warrior. Yep, yep. And this is pretty much how it went at the
We might
beginning.
have lost a lot of your audience.
Oh, we probably have. They don't care. They don't care. But it's funny. I had it somehow. I got into my mind that I had to be a holy priest and I couldn't be a shadow priest because if I was a shadow priest and I couldn't do holy spells and I wouldn't be able to heal. And so for the longest time, all I did was healing, which I'm sure was very frustrating for you. But so this is more for our history and enjoyment than
Hmm.
for our friends. But but that's an example of some of the digital stuff. One of the what I want to do now is, well, let's take a look at a couple more. Actually, before we get into what do we have here? We have, let's look at this one here. So I'm curious to how many people know this character. This is from one of my absolute favorite movies. It's funny that this movie really, it's really not a popular movie, and I don't know why, but it's an early Tom Cruise movie.
It always still blows me away who played that character. you know, it's really
Yeah,
wild.
he was famous for that other movie. What was that? The
Rocky
cult
Horror.
Rocky Horror Show, Rocky Picture Horror Show. Yeah, Rocky Horror
Hmm.
Picture
Yep.
Show, whatever it's
Yep.
called. I haven't seen that one either, but that's where he's famous for. Not this
Hmm.
movie, but this was an
Hmm.
incredible movie, an early Tom Cruise movie. It's called Legend. If you ever get a chance to see it, or rent it or anything, it's worth watching. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I think he did a good job. I mean, that is one of the best evil characters I've seen. The makeup was phenomenal. He did a good job with that one.
Yeah, his acting and the makeup is just it's like iconic.
I
So,
mean, you couldn't get better than that, right? And I think we've taken a look at most everything here in the world of your art. Now, I know you also have taken, there's a painting thing that's downtown, right? And I know you and Amy were doing it for a while. I forget what it's called.
um, oh, are you talking like the paint nights and the painted cork
Yeah,
and stuff like that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where you got the inspiration to do this painting?
No, actually, this is a annual like boardwalk painting exhibition thing that happens up in Bandon, Oregon. We go and visit pretty often.
Uh huh.
It's one of our favorite spots. And yeah, like every summer they do this. They You can buy a little like plywood type of a board, and you just paint it or do whatever on it, and they'll put it up for the pretty much the whole summer. And then they do a like a
It's like an art exhibit kind
judging
of a
kind of thing like that. Yeah,
cool,
but
cool.
anyone can pretty much submit. So we not every year, but this was the first year I did it, and I'm not a painter. I don't. This is like acrylic painting. I don't really do that. That's my wife's medium.
Okay.
But it was sounded like a lot of fun, and so we decided, let's go ahead and do this. We know a lot of the artists there, the local artists there, so we did this, and this is a photo actually. It was a photo of my dad and I on the beach in
Oh, that's
Bandon,
your dad and
looking
you.
at
Okay.
this rock that they're very famous for. Yeah, we were looking at their famous rock called Face Rock. So if you've ever heard of Face Rock, that's Bandon, Oregon. Um, and yeah, so I love that photo, the composition of it and everything. So I just said I'm going to paint this. And interestingly enough, that's one of my like first and only acrylic paintings. And the first one I had submitted into a show. I think I don't think I ever.
Really?
I don't submit things to shows or try to sell them or anything. I just like to do them for myself or as gifts to friends. So this
Sure,
was kind of a
sure.
start for me. And this painting actually went on to. They liked it so much that the group that kind of curates it said, "Hey, we have like an encore show at like a coffee shop. They'd like to keep mine for that encore show." And
Uh-huh.
so it stayed up for a few more months, and then I think another place was going to have like a second encore show, and they kept it for that. And so like I couldn't get my my painting back for several months after the show it actually
Oh,
ended.
that's
It
too
was
much.
quite fun.
And one of the things that's cool, I mean, you guys would go to Bandon every year, and it's a special place for you guys, right? Because that's where you
It is
proposed.
actually, yeah.
It's where you proposed.
Yep, I proposed on that beach right
On
there.
that beach, yeah. So,
Um,
yeah, it's very, very cool.
yep.
And Amy says a wonderful little art community in Bandon. And so, maybe one of these days, you can retire there if it's affordable.
That,
You never
that's the
know,
plan.
right? That's the
I was going to
plan.
share one other thing about the proposal there.
Oh yeah, sure.
I was not supposed to be there, so
Oh,
this is like 8 9 hour drive away,
right.
and Amy, my wife now, not then, she was up there with some family for Thanksgiving, and I had worked it out with them that hey, I'm going to drive up and surprise her on the beach and propose to her. So it's pretty funny because I'm in coordination with her sister and stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you need to. You're down on the beach. I'm down there. And so she got her down there, and I'm walking towards her, and Amy like just won't look at me. She's like why, thinking why is this weird walking towards us? So she keeps kind of like angling further and further away, and
Because she
I'm
doesn't
like
expect you to
chasing her,
be
kind of.
there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like having to keep adjusting to keep going towards her, and she tells me, she's like, I was about ready to just punch this crazy weirdo who wouldn't leave us alone. And she sees me, and it's just like total like, what what are you doing here? It just took a minute to even kind of figure out what was going on, because it's like
That's pretty
I'm not
funny.
supposed to be here. Um, yeah, so that was it could have ended with me getting sucker punched, but it worked out.
Well, I'm glad it didn't end that way. Yeah. What we're going to do before we leave the world of art here, I'm going to pull up one of your creations. Everyone knows who that is, right? And we're going to look at how it's
Hmm.
made. So here we go. So you want to talk to us as it's running here?
Yeah, so sure. So this is an app I use that records all your strokes and everything. So I usually do like a sketch kind of underdrawing type of thing, just to kind of figure out the shapes and kind of how I want it to look, um, and kind of I get kind of rough. I don't worry too much on the details, and it's really ugly because I just kind of let it be whatever it is until I'm happy,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can kind of go in with layers on top and do the inking and try to get the line. If it's kind of glitching a little bit, that's because I draw a line. I do have shaky hands. I don't like it. try it again and until I like it. And then kind of come in, do all the line art, and then I use other layers to do colors and highlights and shadows and stuff like that. So that's
So
what
this
you're
is on
seeing
a
here.
on a tablet with a pencil that you can actually use to draw with.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's on my iPad, and I use like an Apple Pencil kind of thing to
Apple
draw. It's
Pencil.
really
Hmm.
nice because it's you know yeah because it's you're using a tool that you're familiar with a
Now, how long would
pencil
it
type
take you
of
to do
a
something like
thing.
this? Do you
So
remember how
it's
long it took you?
I think this was probably an hour ish, something like that,
Okay,
somewhere around that.
cool. I got
Yeah.
another one here we're going to look at. It's different because you didn't color it in. Um, what happened here? Hang on a second. You know what happened was I pushed the wrong button. Hang on. I hate it when I do that. Got another. I did it again. Hang on. Let me cut. I'll get the hang of this. This is only show number 2, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break here. Okay, so this is Two-Face.
Mhm.
Now, did someone request this drawing from you?
Yes, my 3-year-old daughter requested a drawing. So I started a while back watching the animated series with her back from when like I was a kid, and she
Uh-huh.
loves it. And for some reason, she really liked this character. So I asked her like, "Hey, you want me to draw any Batman characters?" And the first one was Batman, and then it's like, "You wanted me to draw anyone else?" And it was like Two Face, like the guy with two faces. Okay, so yeah, this was a
She's a great
she
kid.
liked the bad guys.
She liked Two-Face.
This was actually a lot of fun because you get to really, you know, do a lot of crazy stuff. It's like you don't
Right.
normally get to do if you're drawing a regular person. But you can see there also when I draw people and stuff, I tend to like start with like a kind of a mannequin, kind of a basic proportions
Uh-huh.
kind of
Uh-huh.
thing, and then I can just drop like specific details on top of it. So it's like more of a constructing like it's like a lot of comic book stuff. You want to put them in different poses, so it's really easy to pose a mannequin with like just basic shapes, and then just put the details on top.
Have you ever have you ever tried animating anything like a cartoon?
So the app that I have does do some limited animation, and I've thought about it, but it is really time consuming, and
Oh, is it really?
I don't have a lot of time. So yeah, I haven't really gotten too far down that.
Hey, Uli, all is forgiven. I'm glad you could join. We're going over some artwork. So this is my buddy Dave used his iPad and his stylus to do a creation here. So we've been looking at. So better late than never, right? Oh, by the way, my friend Uli and Ruben, who joined us earlier, also, they have this great show. It's called Welcome to My Brain. It's on Wednesday nights. I laugh so hard. It's something that I look forward to every week. So keep an eye out for Welcome to My Brain. They put on just a wild, crazy show. Okay, cool. So, and you've got, you're a bigger Marvel fan than I am. I mean, you grew up with the comics, and I never really did. But you can see you've got on your back, you've got a authentic vibranium Captain America shield from Wakanda, right?
Totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And you got your Marvel hat, which is mandatory, right? And now
Hmm.
And I asked you about this earlier. What's going on underneath the brim?
So it has pictures of most of the popular characters, the
Oh,
heads
cool.
just under there. It's a little
Oh,
bit of
right on.
splash of color aside from just the logo,
Yeah, yeah,
which I
that's
like.
cool. And then what have you got behind you? You got a drafting table, and you got a picture on there for
Yeah,
us.
so this is my art desk.
Okay, and what have you
Yeah,
got?
I got this is another one actually. This is that grisaille style, but it's little grisaille with then watercolor on top to do some Sesame Street Muppets. This is actually an idea I had that's very procrastinated. Where every year for my daughter's birthday, I wanted to do whatever the biggest thing for her for that last year was, and do a paint like some kind of a picture with those characters and her in it, and
Okay.
then give it to her as a gift. And this was supposed to be for her second birthday, and she's coming on her fourth birthday, and
Oh
I haven't
well.
finished it. So
So are you going to actually add her?
procrastination's the
You're going to
problem.
actually add her into there?
Yeah, and this is
Have you
just
drawn
like
her?
kind of a practice test
Oh, I
run, and
see.
then I'm
Okay. Have you
gonna
drawn her
kind
before?
of figure out the characters.
Have you drawn
I
her
have
before?
drawn, yeah, I've drawn her. I've never really done like it fully, but I've done sketches of her and stuff like
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'll look forward to seeing that. That'll be fun. Oh, I'm sure she'll get a bang out of that too.
Oh yeah.
So, so now we're going to go back in time, um, and talk a little bit about. So when we met through Aikido, which
Hmm.
I think a lot of people probably have heard of Aikido by now, um, but it comes from Japan. And I think when I first got involved, um, we used to call it a martial art, but it's not really, because martial comes from war, right? And it's really not about that. Uli, you're so funny. I took, well, it probably says, it took me 20 years to make puppets out of my dogs. So I know procrastinating. I'm not going to ask you about making puppets out of your dogs. That sounds like animal
Yeah,
cruelty
that
to me.
I could
But
take that from a dark way.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I know you, so I know you. You're a very kind soul. So it probably means something than what I think it means. But I look forward to get some clarity for you from you here at some point. Um, so we met through Aikido, which is actually it's an art. Oh,
Hmm.
he. I meant drawings. See, I knew you didn't make puppets out of your dogs. I knew that about you. You know. So, oh, that's too funny. Oh, I look forward to seeing those drawings at some point, Uli. That'd be cool. You know, that'd be cool. I'll have to come down and visit. Um, so it's a lot about self defense in a lot of ways. It's very intense practice, and so here we're seeing the culmination of years of practice, right?
Mm.
So what
Yeah,
are we
this is
seeing here?
from my black belt presentation. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's funny
And
in our dojo they weren't tests, they were presentations.
right,
That's right.
yeah. Basically, if you were told you were ready, so then it's just okay. You do something to show why you're ready.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So let's go to another one here. So we got a couple of shots from when you were showing your presentation. Let's go to the other one here. There you go. And you know, I racked my brain trying to remember the names of these things, and I really couldn't.
Yes.
You know, I
I
can't.
think this
After all
is
that time of spending
man. I'm
practicing,
struggling with the
I
other
can't,
one too. I was like, I I feel like that is that other one Irimi not something right. I can't
no.
remember all the names now either, but
I mean,
I
there's
think this is
Gaishi. There's all these, and I don't remember what they go for anymore. It's been too
yeah.
long. It's been way too long. How
I
old now?
remember
How
this.
about how old were you here?
Gosh, so I'm probably like 20.
Still in college, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a long time ago.
It's been a long time ago. Oh my God,
Yeah.
we're dating ourselves. Oh my gosh.
I have more life not since then than before that. So yeah, it's
Yes,
since a long time ago.
yes. Yeah, it's weird. The past is, what would we do without photos, really, right? What would we
Hmm.
do? Okay, so after your presentation, you were awarded black belt, right? And this was some additional training that we did, right?
Hmm. Yeah. This is the Joe, and that's our sensei over there at Flutie,
Mm-hmm.
and I doing I want to say this was even for like some promotional stuff. They were trying to get a picture that they were gonna put on
It
flyers
might
or
have been.
something. I forget.
And there's some cool stuff that you can
Yeah.
see here. You've got um, on the wall in the back, you've got the kanji for Aikido, right? And as you see at the bottom, do is like a warrior on a
Hmm.
path, right? And let me make this full
Hmm.
screen so I can see what this is. And oh, that's a picture of O Sensei, the
Yeah, it's always
founder of
interesting. The
Aikido.
eye
It's
is like a
behind.
house with yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little. After we came back from the Shinto shrine up in
Yeah.
Seattle, we started having a little. It's like a honoring, ancestors and founders and stuff like that. You can see it's right underneath you, this little wicker kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The little
Okay.
mhm.
And we'll go to another one here. We've got 3 in the black belt phase. There you can see the shrine a little bit better.
I am so yeah, but you can also see I'm so sweaty. I used to
Well,
sweat
I
a
mean,
lot
there's a
when
lot of
I
movement.
used to
Aikido has a lot of movement,
yeah,
and it's very intense. It's a high
yeah.
energy kind of a thing. Um, yeah, and someone has gone down to the mat. But yeah, off to the right there, you can see the little shiny thing. And I think there was sake in there, and we had other stuff, right?
Yeah. Yep. Little
And
offerings. Yep.
yep. Okay, we got one more. I don't even remember what it is, to tell you the truth. Oh, you're throwing. Okay, so that's a throw, and that looks like Sensei
Hmm.
Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I think that is a guy named Lou, if I recall. It was a really tall guy.
Oh, that's
I
Lou,
think. I
and
think
he's
so.
upside down.
Yeah.
I don't know who it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So he was really huge, and I'm pretty short, and I always liked Aikido because I had the advantage being short,
In a way, you did.
hmm
Yeah.
which is
And
funny.
on your left hand there with your fingers extended, I remember that we were always encouraged to make our energy big and let it flow,
Mm.
and extend our hands, and it's a good example of that, I think. And it's a lot of partner work, right? And the
Yep.
nage and the
Yeah.
uke, one who gives and one who receives. And we spent a lot of time learning how to roll and fall like this so we didn't hurt ourselves. It was
It
very
helped that the
enjoyable.
mats were pretty springy back in the day.
It did. It
They got a
did.
little harder when they switched to the tatami, and then it's like you really
Well,
got to roll a
tatami,
little
yeah,
better.
I know. When we were coming up, the mats were a lot softer and it was very gentle on some of our
Hmm.
older bodies. And then they switched to
Yeah.
a tatami-like mat. It wasn't real tatami; it was an
Yeah.
artificial substance, but it was a lot firmer, and
Right.
you really had to learn how to roll so you didn't hurt yourself. But that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
I used to roll on concrete just to kind of practice really
Are you
being
kidding me? You
very nice
rolled
and
up.
cool.
What a show off! You're a show off.
You will feel it if you are not really,
Yeah, you will.
full of energy.
No,
You'll
you
feel
will.
it.
No, you will. And you got to make
Mm-hmm.
yourself almost like a ball, so you roll rather than hitting flat. That
Mm-hmm.
energy is distributed evenly,
Right.
And yeah, if you fall, if you fall wrong once or twice, you learn real quick. Okay, this is not fun. I need to figure this out, right? And
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
cool, cool.
I loved rolling. That was like my favorite thing. I actually enjoyed being the uke, meaning the person who gets thrown around a lot more in some
Right.
ways because it was so much fun because you're flying all over the place and
Oh, I know.
it just was
I
like
mean,
it was like flying. It was really
and
neat.
then when for warm ups, we'd get at one end of the map and we'd just roll to the other end on one
Hmm.
side and roll on the other all the way back on the other side.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the roll and the fall, that was very fun. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, it was very fun. And in a sense, it's almost like letting the mats
Hmm.
massage our backs and our shoulders as we would roll. That was a lot of fun. Cool. So what's up for you, man? What do you got? What We got our gaming that we do. But do you have? Are you getting? I know for a while there you had not done a lot of art. You've got a. Is she
Mhm.
3 or 4?
She'll
She's
be 4
3.
pretty soon.
She'll be
Yeah, so
4
it's
soon.
it's
She'll be 4 soon.
challenging.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
it's
So,
challenging because oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, she's been since COVID started, been home with us like full
oh,
time.
that's
So there's
true. Yeah,
no
that's right.
daycare. So
Right.
my wife and I were both able to work from home, which is great. But we're balancing working, both of us, and having to take care of her. And so we you don't want to ignore her during the day, but it tends to be harder to do that because you
Right.
have to get work done. And then so
Right.
the evenings is like you really want to spend that time with her, and then you still have to do other things for the house and stuff. So all of the like personal time kind of is hard to squeeze in there right now. So which is why it tends to be like really late at night when she's gone to bed or something. But then it's balancing. Well, we need some just time just to like ourselves or just being adults and watching a TV show we want to watch or whatever. And then, trying to find time to do your art, which is really a solitary kind of a thing. It's
True. Yeah.
it's like it's tough because you don't want to be ignoring any of the other folks in your
Yeah.
house.
And speaking of that, I know you made her a promise for after we're done tonight, right?
I did. Yeah,
You
she's gotten
did.
quite into playing the Nintendo and loves right now totally into playing Super Mario Brothers. So
That apple
she's
doesn't
like,
fall far from the tree, brother. You
yeah.
know.
So she wants to play Mario as soon as I'm done with all of this. But I'm very excited for her because she's pretty young and she's getting pretty good at that kind of stuff and
Yeah.
learning a lot of great lessons. I mean, I like video games because they teach people it's okay to fail. Like you can fail,
True.
fail,
Yeah.
fail, 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 and then get it right, and
And
that's
I
all
think with the
okay, and it's all
controllers,
fun, right?
you
Yeah.
got your fine motor skill work too. I
Hmm.
saw an interesting comparison of a child's hand and a hand when they're a bit older, and even the
Hmm.
number of bones changes. Their hands when they're really young, they're just not developed enough to do a lot of that. But as they grow, they have more bones form and they start being able to do more. So and it's something that you can do with her.
Oh
Father
yeah.
daughter
Well, it's funny.
activity.
She would much rather play with me than just by herself. So, and
Oh
I like
well,
that. It's fun, and so we get to do it
you
together.
know,
And
that's positive.
she wants to do it as a team. So
That's
it's
a
a lot of fun.
positive. So I'm going to throw this out again, like I did last week. I've got this thing called Wheel of Names, and I showed everybody how it works. And if there's anybody that's on with us right now that would like to pop on briefly to be on camera, to say hi, maybe ask Dave or me a question, just say hey to everybody out there in live stream land. Yeah, just put your name in the comments, and I'll throw it up there and you put your name on the wheel of names, and we'll see who does. And if not, that's cool. I'll just keep offering it until someone does. And I mean, there's only a few requirements. One is really you need to have headphones, and earbuds are fine. You know, with the built-in microphone, that's fine. And that you're well lit so we can see you, because if you're in a dark room, it doesn't work so well. But that's the only requirement. It's really simple. And I'd love it if sometimes just to have someone just pop on the random. That'd be fun. But it can be scary. When I was little, I had the opportunity to be on TV. I was there was the Mickey Mouse Club when I was growing up, and it was televised. And they had an affiliate in, like, I think Fresno, California. And I won some kind of contest. I don't know what it was. And they invited me, and so I got to be on the local station for a little bit. And that was fun. But of course, you don't get to see yourself. So here, you actually see yourself, and um, it can take getting used to. But for those of us who have inflated egos, it's not so bad.
Are you talking about anyone in particular?
Mostly you, I think, actually.
Okay, well that's fair.
Oh, no, no, no. But anyway, so yeah, I'm not seeing any takers, and that's absolutely fine. So thank you for being with us and sharing art with Dave and hearing part of his story. And for those who are here live and for those watching the recording, I thank you very, very much. I enjoy doing this. I've looked forward to doing this. This is episode number 2, and I'm looking forward to episode number 3. And so I wish you everyone well. Dave, is there anything else you want to say before we bid good night?
Oh, I was gonna say there's one other. I'm looking at it right here, but there's one other piece of art I did that you didn't talk about.
Oh, hang
It's your
on.
little logo there.
Yeah, we'll get. Oh, and we'll talk about that in a second here. So Uli says on the phone tonight, but we'll call in another time. I'll take you up on that. Actually, Uli, I would like to have you as a guest at some point, not too far down the road. So if you look, and we're going to switch places here. There we go. So if you look right up, this is hard to do. Have you ever tried doing this? It's hard to do. That little logo, My Life and
Yeah,
Welcome
it's
to It.
yeah.
See that up there? There it is. Wait, there? No, there. Wait, where? Anyway, Uli says, thanks for sharing your art. Yeah, thank you so much. So anyway, I sent Dave a photograph that a friend of mine had taken, and he took that photograph and turned it into my logo. And that logo was my podcast logo, which is the launching pad for this live stream. So yeah, that's cool. And actually, I had to make you sign it. I think you signed it, right? You didn't sign it at first. I'm like, Dave, you got to sign it. You got to sign it.
No, I didn't.
You maybe never did.
I always
I
forget
don't
to do
know.
that because I.
You don't care. You're not making it. I mean, one of these
It
days
doesn't
when
matter.
you're probably dead and gone, you'll be famous. But until then, all right,
Oh,
everyone.
well, then that'll be I'll love to know that.
I won't be around. That's for sure. I mean, I might, but I don't plan to be. But in any event, so thank you, Dave, for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And have fun with your daughter. And once you're all vaccinated up, we'll get together for sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And again, thanks everyone that's been watching tonight, and thanks for all that have watched the recording. And I'll see you all again. When? Next week, right? Next Thursday. Next Thursday at 7:00. Be here or be somewhere else.